We are being hailed.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the American jump. The noon was for the Europeans. Australia, I don't know when they are. It's later than we are. But normally I would have jumped with the Europeans, but I didn't today. I was live streaming Farm Sim. So now, I got about 5 minutes before I'm supposed to go up and meet up at the beacon to take off. But I did something in between the last live stream. I did go out and get the FSD, the Guardian FSD, so I can jump 10 light years further than I could before. So I'm able to jump now 67.46 light years per jump. And the reason why it wasn't more than that, it would have been 70 or 80, but I went in and added a few things into my ship. So I filled all those, remember I had a couple of empty spaces. I filled them with stuff. So I put a little bit of weight on. And the reason I did that is if you take damage, the damage is spread out through all of your modules. So if you have empty spots, that means there's the ones that do have something in it are going to take more damage. So if you fill those spots up with things that may or may not have weight to them, if you take any damage, it's spread out amongst all the modules. So anyway, but I am able to get to where we need to go. We did get our destination. I can get there in about 83 jumps. Now what they've decided to do is take the first jump to Omega, and then we're going to, it's going to be next weekend before we make our next jump. Hey, Bill, how you doing? You're the only troll here. I didn't expect anybody to be here, to be honest with you. I've got a few minutes. These guys are just dinking around down here. I think I'm going to go up and head up to the beacon and wait for the jump. So I would have Discord on, but there's about 600, literally, not that many, but there's literally about 300 people in Discord all trying to talk at once, and it was driving me nuts. It would probably drive you crazy too. Hey, Brian. Fixed notifications? Well, thank goodness. It's only 1:26 a.m. over here. Yeah, the Europeans, like I said, jumped at noon. I don't know what time that would have been for you. We are being hailed. Noon my time. But I'm going to take off, and I'm going to meet up at the. I got about 3 or 4 minutes now. We're supposed to be up there about 10 minutes before we jump, I think. So I'm going to take off here.
Landing gear retracted.
So, Bill, you missed the Farm Sim live stream. My notifications weren't working. I was sitting there all by myself for about an hour before people started to come in. I started off on YouTube, and I got no notifications, and so I switched over to Twitch. And even when I got over there, some people had notifications, some didn't. I don't know what's going on. All right, Brian, thanks for stopping by and saying hello. And I'll see you next time, I hope. Good to talk to you. Engage Super Cruise.
Drives engaging.
Drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
All right, so I got to get up off the planet here, and then I'm looking for a beacon. We're all supposed to meet at a beacon, and then at 5 o'clock we're supposed to shoot into space, and it'll be 6 months before we come back.
are being hailed.
All right, now I gotta find the beacon. Seems like break loose of this planet. Here we go. Okay, now let's see if I can find that beacon. I know one way to find it. Stop engines.
Affirmative. Slowing to a full stop.
I did stream. I streamed at noon to about 3. And like I said, the notifications weren't working. I don't know what was going on. Alright, let's see if I can find that beacon.
We are being hailed. We are being hailed.
Well, shoot. I found it earlier. I should have marked it. There it is. There it is, there it is, there it is, right there. Alright, I'll mark it. Okay, let's see if we can line up, see if there's anybody up there already. Well, there's ships flying around. You can see there. All those bright lights, those are other ships. And it's interesting, when I signed up for this trip, there were about 5,000 some people signed up. As of this morning, there were over 13,000. And the European people took off at noon. I usually fly with them, but I didn't today because I wanted to live stream the farm. So
We are being hailed.
I'll take off with the Yankees, the Americans. Start a group on Steam. Let us join. Activate a Steam notification. I could do that, I suppose. I think I already have a group on Steam, so I've got several people in a group. God, I'm getting close here. Just drop out of Super Cruise and there's ships everywhere. Alright, now. Okay, so that's the way we're going to be jumping right through the... Are you kidding? That's where I got to go. I'm not jumping into that star. That's for sure. There's another Conda. Wow, there's more people than I've seen in a long time. Now there are instances, so there's only a few people in each instance. Because there's no way they're going to get, 13,000 people in one place at one time. It just doesn't work that way.
We are being hailed.
No, we're not. He just thinks we're being hailed. Stop engines. We're just going to sit here for a minute until everybody starts jumping in. Let's get out here and look around. There's the Lananchi. That's my ship. It's an Anaconda. There's other people starting to come in up here. We're just gonna sit here and wait. Let's see what's it's only 4:37 though, so people will start coming in. We're not gonna jump till 5 o'clock, so it might be a little bit quiet up here for a while. But I can tell you, I can have you listen to Discord. It'd drive you nuts. I had to turn it off. It was just bugging me. It was so noisy with 300 people all trying to talk at the same time. Let's see, there's Discord. Let me turn Discord on.
I need to be.
I'm in a wing with somebody who I just friended.
Launch starts in 30 minutes.
30 minutes? Come on.
It's
All right, we have time.
Goddamn,
it's
frustrating enough to have people spam PM me, but don't spam PM. Don't spam PM me if you're in open.
Wait, who are you? I'm in private.
Open.
I told you this is gonna drive you nuts.
Yeah, how do I get in?
Be in open. If you
open, you're on your own.
What's your name, man?
Oh god, it's
I need a wing.
Time.
Private clip, PRV, CLIP.
One open wing slot. If you want to join into that slot, private.
Is there a way to check which private group I'm in? Like without leaving it?
Who has an open spot in a wing? I'm in.
I do. LDJ.
Yeah.
I'm also on the.
I thought we were actually gonna shut down Discord servers too.
I have
the materials I need to evaluate my shield generator now.
It's actually pretty
I sent
quiet
you
right
a
now.
message
Okay, I'm
on
Commander
Discord.
Majestic
My name is LDJ.
Alright, I've had enough already.
I have 22 minutes to get to
I
Kunin.
can't wing. By the way, guys that are requesting wing invites, we can't wing up with you if you're not in open. If you're in.
Alright. Just got crazy. It's just crazy. It was worse a little earlier because they actually everybody was trying to talk. Once you get away from this initial jump, is where everybody's, you know, at the starting line. Boom. You know, once we start jumping, it's going to be unusual if we see anybody out in space, because my ship will do almost 70,000 light years, where somebody else's ship will only do 30. And when you set up a course, I'll show you what my course looks like. So I've got 83 jumps to go. Somebody else that has 30 jumps may take 183. But if we look at the galaxy map, here's my route here. There's my route, and it keeps going way off into the distance. You can see that line right here. That's my route that's been scheduled for me. Now, since I can jump a certain length, somebody that only has 30 is only going to be jumping half of what I can. So they've got to jump into one of these nearer stars. So you can see that everybody's route is going to be completely different than yours, because you have to jump to the nearest star that you're able to jump to. And so that's why this line is so crooked. And, you know, the ultimate is way down the line where we're heading. But anyway, yeah, the chances of you meeting up with anybody along the route are slim to none. Now, once we get to Omega, we're all going to meet. Yeah, my ears are bleeding. And a lot of time they're just talking nonsense, literally, so. Well, there's a few people floating around, but now see, my route is going to be a little different. I can't, I'm supposed to be jumping right into that star. I can't do that.
We are being hailed.
Now see, they're saying so many. Oh, Sergeant Stubby. I know Sergeant Stubby. I was with him on another run. So the thing is that there's the beacon. Let me get over closer to the beacon. Yeah, even though there's 13,000 people flying, once we start, you're going to be lucky to see anybody. If you're listening on Discord, you know, you're going to hear everybody. But what happens is you do your own thing until you get to your destination, and then they select a planet that we all kind of land on. And that's where we're going to stay until the next jump. And so when we get there, then we start meeting up with other people. We take our SUVs, our Land Rovers out. If you've got fighter ships, you can bring those out. I happen to have a fighter ship with me. You can bring those out. You can fly around the planets and stuff. What's this now? Distant Worlds Expedition. This system is famed as the starting point for the Distant Worlds Expedition 3302. This expedition was a collaborative journey to Beagle Point on the far side of the galaxy. So this must be where they started the last time. This is Distant Worlds 2. So it's a little bit different. I think. All right, Bill. I'll catch you. Now that the notifications are working again, I'll catch you the next farm one. Oh, hey, by the way, Bill, are you still there? That's either a lot of ships or some of them blew up because there's something floating everywhere. All right. Well, it's 15 minutes till 5. We're supposed to jump at 5, so we'll see. I've heard people say 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes. Wow, there's people jumping in all over the place now. Stop engines.
All stop.
Scan detected.
Who's scanning me? Holy smokes. This ship's just popping in everywhere.
2 hairs at once will end up with none. Keep this in mind during combat. Your life may depend on it.
We are being hailed.
That one popped in a little close. Man, there's a lot of orcas and belugas out here. A lot of condas too, though. I'm flying a conda, so if you see another one that looks like it, the ship right below me in the distance there is another conda. There's one off to the right, one off to the left. Condas are, there's one below. Condas are pretty popular. The thing of it is, it's a big ship, and you can put a lot of stuff on it. Like I've got 2 SRVs. I've got a fighter ship, a fighter jet. I've got like 3, I think. I had 4 repair modules. I had to drop 1 because I did get the Guardian FSD, which gave me 10 light-year jump difference. But it takes up a slot. So I had to take one of the repair modules out. And so my ship is pretty full, but I made it as light as I can. And so I'm able to get almost 70 light years of jump. So we're basically waiting around here for everybody to jump in, and then we're going to take off. We'll see which way they want us to face out. Maybe it's not a good place to sit right on the beacon. That's basically where I'm at, sitting right on the beacon. So when people get to the beacon, they jump in. Yep, there's another conda. Whoa! And they're jumping in left and right now. Kind of scary. Now, I play on a private server. I play on the FleetCom server most of the time. I've got several servers that I can play on. I don't play in open space, and open space is pretty much PvP stuff, you know, or it can be. So I play on private servers, so... And the FleetCom is pretty good size. There's a lot of players that play on FleetCom. Well, it's about 10 minutes to 5. It should be getting pretty close. Now that one was almost too close for comfort. I must have my lights on. There went those little ships, those little ones that are spitting around here. Those are fighters. I do have a fighter bay. I brought one just for fun, and I brought two, like I said, I brought 2 Land Rovers. They call them SRVs. Just in case I blow one up on a planet, I've still got another one. The last trip I took, I was in an Asp. It's a lot smaller ship. It's a medium-sized ship, and I was only able to take one SRV.
We are being hailed.
All right, it's getting close. Let's see, what time is it? 4:52. We got about 8 minutes. Man, there's people jumping in like crazy here. Whoa! Got a few chats, did we?
Scan detected.
Whole lot of scanning going on. It's fun to see all the different ships. Some people really come with everything like I did. My ship's got about everything I can stick in it. Other people bring smaller ships, and they're the survivalists. You know, their ships, the smaller ships don't go that far as far as jump range. They can't hold much. See a lot of Condas, that's what I'm flying. The Piping Bowl. All right. There's the beacon.
Scan detected.
Okay, I hate to do this, but I'm going to pop into Discord again. Hold your ears, everybody. There's about 300 people all trying to talk at the same time.
Scan detected.
I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything.
And huddle around it.
We've got a congregation around this pink cutter. I think that's
Please don't.
bacon.
Please don't.
Yes, I'm
Please don't just crash me again. Please don't.
I'm not sure if I'm in the wrong.
Please tell me someone's streaming.
There are a bunch of ships here, but I'm
Who's
not sure
streaming?
how many.
I want to get in the camera view.
There's lots of streamers.
Okay,
I'm on your starboard side, by the way.
What are the names of these guys? Yeah.
So many bot ships, my gosh. I keep thinking a commander jumps in and like, oh, nope, it's a blue.
Alright, a little bit of that goes a long way. My ears are bleeding. A lot of ships. Now again, for those that just popped in, I got the Europeans jumped out about noon West Coast time, my time. I'm on the West Coast. It's almost 5 o'clock here. This is the American takeoff. And then the Australians, I'm not quite sure when they're taking off, but it's later than this. I think the Australians are taking off, actually, my time would be past midnight, but I'm not sure. So right, it's like I said, it's amazing. I signed up last week. There were 5,000. As of this morning, there were over 13,000.
We are being hailed.
Red Planet Taxi Service. God, they're still jumping in. I'm surprised there hasn't been a bang up yet. Don't scratch the Lenon sheet. Oh, that one had their shields pop up. Did somebody hit him? Oh man, they're popping in left and right now. Holy smokes. Oh, the humanity. This is mass chaos, by the way, if you haven't been to one of these before. Now there's different instances, so this is only one instance. There can only be so many ships, you know, in one place at one time. So there's many other instances of other people in the same spot we're in right now.
We are being hailed.
But it's kind of uncoordinated because nobody knows exactly what the heck to do. We know we're heading that way. I mean, I've got my course already set in. So my course is that way, right through that star. So I'm going to have to get up into Super Cruise and get around that star before I can jump. And it's 1 minute to 5. Now, it looks like everybody's kind of pointing a certain way. Let me jump into here with these other condos. my ship around here. Hard to say what's happening. It's 5 o'clock. Everybody's taking off. Here we go. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and take off. Engage Super Cruise.
Super Cruise drive charging.
4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
And we're off. Now, I've used up a little bit of fuel, so I'm going to scoop this a little bit of fuel before I actually do my first jump here. I got to go around the planet anyway, because that's where my jump is. Right there. And I've got 83 more jumps to go until I get to my destination. And the destination, we're not going to meet up until next weekend. So we've got all week to make this. It would take me probably a couple hours to do it. So I'm just going to take my time. I'm an explorer. So I'm going to explore in between here and there in the next week. And I'm going to be scanning planets because I'm also a geologist. Those are the two that I've signed up for, is exploration and geology.
Interstellar travel mode engaged.
So I'm going to be doing a lot of scanning.
Hull integrity is within limits. All other systems are now at normal levels.
Gathering information.
And the first jump is out of the way.
Fuel scooping.
Okay, so I'm going to let all the scanning go before I hit the go button.
Disengaged.
As soon as the scanning is done, then I'm off again.
Frameshift drive charging.
Now, jumping like this, if you're an explorer, they call it honking when you get into the system. You honk your scanner. So basically, you jump into the system, you honk hello, and you jump out. So that's called honking. But what that is you hit your system scan.
Scanning for anomalies. None detected.
I use a program called Voice Attack.
Completing system scan for cartography.
Now you heard Tom Baker, Doctor Who's voice.
System scan complete.
He's actually doing the scanning for me. Normally, without Voice Attack, I would have to hit a button when I come in and do the scanning. But I've got Voice Attack set up so that when I get into a system, it automatically honks for me, scans the system, and I can line up and jump again. So it's all automatic. I don't have to do it.
Frameshift drive charging.
Now, when you do that, it's scanning the system for bodies, planets, that kind of stuff, moons, things like that.
Adjusting for jump.
So basically, it's going to tell you how many bodies are in that system after that initial scan. But it doesn't scan the planets and the moons individually. You have to do that with a different set of equipment, and it takes time. Depending on how many bodies are in that system, you have to scan each one of them. When you do that, it tells you whether they're high metal world, a water world, an earth-like world, And it gives you, when you scan them, it gives you all that information. The more bodies that you do a thorough scan on, the more money you get when you get back to civilization and turn it all in. And you can make a ton of money doing it.
Frameshift drive charging.
Jumping to next system. Hull integrity is within limits. All other systems are now at normal levels.
Compiling data for cartography.
I put the biggest fuel scanner I could put in a scoop.
Fuel scooping.
Yeah, biggest fuel scoop. It's a 7A. I can scoop pretty fast, and you know it. I can make quite a few jumps before I have to actually do this, but it's easier for me just to scoop a little bit when I come into a system. If I'm a little bit lower on fuel, I'll go ahead and fill it up like I'm doing now.
Fuel scooping complete.
And I want to hang around long enough for everything to be discovered like it's being discovered here, because I want that information.
Frameshift drive charging.
Hull integrity is within limits. All other systems are now at normal levels.
Whoa, we got a double star.
Gathering information.
More than that.
Cartography
There's 4 of them.
updated.
System scan complete. System scan complete. Fuel scooping.
Now this is where you can kind of get into trouble if you jump into a system that has, you notice these stars are pretty close together. There's been times where you jump right into a star and are close enough to it, yet you take a little bit of hull damage and it knocks you out of orbit. So you kind of have to be careful. Let's see here. I started at 83. I'm down to 78 jumps now. So I'm going to start. I've got a week to get where we're going. So I've got plenty of time. I'm going to start scanning systems as soon as I get a couple of jumps away from the start point. I want to get a little bit away from the bubble.
Frameshift drive charging.
The bubble is what we call the civilized part of space, where there are space stations and human beings and things like that.
4, 3, 2, 1.
I can jump almost 70 light years a jump, so it doesn't take very many jumps for me to get away from the bubble. And
Scanning for anomalies.
that puts me into space where there's things that haven't been discovered yet.
Completing
That's
system
where you
scan for
make the
cartography.
good money on scanning. Okay, now we've got things in this system that it's finding here and discovering. So I might take a little bit of time and do a little bit of scanning here of some of the bodies before I head on. I've got a week to get where I'm going, so I want to do some exploring because that's what I'm doing. I'm an explorer and a geologist. So get away from the star here, since I'm not getting any fuel out of it anyway. stop engines?
Affirmative. Slowing to a full engine stop.
All right, so to make a little bit of money, or a lot more money than just honking, we've got to get into our FSS, and we're looking for bodies to scan, and so that's what we've got there. Those like there, those blue circles that pop up, there's something there. So we have to use our filter down here to try to find out what's out there. Right there. Once we get that white circle, we can zoom in. It's a planet. It's completely scanning that planet now, and it's telling me that it's a gas giant, and it's going into the codex. So this is something I haven't found before, but it tells us what the resources are on that planet. We got nickel, chromium, manganese, and mercury, cadmium, all of those things. It gives you the Earth mass. The planets out here, they're scaling towards Earth mass. So they're using Earth as the base, the mass of the Earth as a base. Is this planet bigger or smaller than the Earth? And tells you the radius and the orbital period. Now, all this information is not that important to me, but now that I have this information, I can sell it. Now, when I jumped into the system, it told me there were so many bodies in the system, but it doesn't tell you what they are. It doesn't give you the information. So that's what you have to do, is you have to find these things. All right, so let's see here. We've got two out of 3 that we found. Let's see what we've got here. Now that one is a little bit different. That one there is, that's a signal. That's not a planet or a moon. It is a degraded emission system signal, and there's a threat level of 0. Okay, and there's something by it though. Let's see what that is. Probably another gas giant, looks like.
System scan complete.
Okay, so same thing. It's a gas giant. So we've got 2 of them now. We've got, that was all 3. So let's see. Did I miss anything? It did say. Oh, okay. Those are all asteroid belts right there, and the initial scan took care of those for us. So we're done here. We've scanned everything in this system, so we can back out and head on with our trip.
Frameshift drive charging.
Right, we've got a scoopable star ahead of us, so this star that I just passed did not have fuel for me.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Interstellar travel mode engaging now. Hull integrity is within limits. All other systems are normal levels.
Gathering information. Cartography updated.
Fuel scooping.
Alright, I'm going to get our fuel here. Now, since I didn't get fuel at the last one, I want to fill up here. There's nothing worse than getting out thousands and thousands of light years away from the bubble and running out of fuel. Now, fortunately, with 13,000 other players coming out here, there's quite a number of them that are what you would call fuel rats. And there's another amount of them that actually carry fuel with them. So if you get into an emergency, you can call out for them for help. But I don't want to do that if I don't have to. Stop engines.
Affirmative. Slowing to a full stop.
Let's see what we have here. By the way, I'm using a Xbox One controller to do all this scanning. It just makes it easier. Although I'm not very good at them using a controller. Wow, there's a lot of information on this planet. Okay, that's 2 of 10. So we've got 8 more places to find. All right, we got 3 of 10. I'm not very good with a Xbox controller, so I have a little bit of trouble with those thumb things. I don't have real good coordination in my fingers and thumbs and stuff. 4 of 10. Interesting. An icy body. Now that's interesting. Huh. Another icy body. Get the information on that. And to the next one. Now I want to get good at this because I don't want to take a lot of time. I want to keep jumping. So if the better I get at this. Okay, now there's more than one body out this way, so in this orbital plane. So let's see what else we can find here. Got a rocky body. So that means there's a lot of ores and stuff out here, probably. It's not high metal, but there might be a lot of minerals. A metal-rich body. That's important information right there, if you're a miner. Alright, what else have we got out here? Just the 2 items. Alright. We got 8 out of 10. We need 2 more. Alright, come on. I told you I was bad with controllers. There's our 2 right here. Alright, we get a high metal content world. Now some of the more the ones that you make more money off of are like the Earth-like worlds or the water worlds. You make good money off of those.
System scan complete.
Okay, system scan complete. We've got everything out here that we can find. So we are now ready to take off again on our next jump. Lights out. Lights off.
Off.
No need having lights on. Ain't nobody gonna see me out here.
Frameshift drive charging.
Hyperspace, checking systems now. Complete. Key systems are at optimal levels. Ready for exit now.
There is one other
Gathering
thing that
information, cartography updated.
Sorry, Tom, didn't mean to interrupt you there. There is another thing that I have set up to be automatic using voice attack, and that is when I jumped from the last system to this one, you have to go full throttle to jump. If you forget to pull that throttle back, when you get to this end, you'll plow right into the star. So to prevent that, I have a system set up with voice attack that automatically makes you jump in safety jump, which means it cuts the power after you're in the jump. So if you forget that you've got the throttle all the way on, it will not jump into the star when you get here. It shuts everything off before you get here. I've had that happen many times where I've gotten a little bit of complacency in that I'm jumping through space. You get a little bit kind of bored and you put on a YouTube video to watch, or you're listening to music or whatever, and you throw full throttle on this thing like this. You got a full throttle. I'll show you. Let me stop the engines and I'll go to jump.
Frameshift drive charging.
Okay, once it gets charged, it's not going anywhere until I pop the throttle all the way up. Now, if I'm watching a YouTube video and I pop the throttle and I forget I've done it,
ready to engage.
Throttle up, there we go. Now, if I forget to pull it up and I didn't have that automatic system, when I get to the other end, I just slide right into that star because I'm still going full power. So I use that voice
Confirming
attack
exit point telemetry.
to do that for
Stand
me.
by.
See, I'm set at full throttle. I did not pull it
Scanning.
back, but I'm not going into the star either until I move it. I can't tell you how many times I've done that. Get distracted,
Fuel scooping.
fly right into the star.
Fuel scooping complete.
Well, let's take a look. Out of 83 jumps, one more will put us 10 in. So I'm going to make one more jump, and then I think I'm going to take a little break. And I just wanted to do a live stream of the initial takeoff there, and then I'm going to do a little bit of scanning, system scanning here, and that's kind of boring, I would think. But what I'll do is I'll come back in and we'll check in, see how we're doing. Maybe tomorrow, the next day. I said I've got a week to get there.
Frameshift now engaged. No anomalies detected.
So I'll be popping in within the week and showing you what the, what my progress has been.
Hyperspace, checking
whether I've
systems
gotten
now.
blown up in
Complete.
space, whether I've run into any kind of aliens
Scanning
or anything.
now.
Fuel scooping.
And so that's the first 10 jumps.
Fuel scooping complete.
And hopefully I'll see you again in the next stream.